Hi there, VC. It's Steve Whitty here with episode 4 of Stars on 45. Ooh, this is becoming a bit of a drag, but no, not really. I'm enjoying showing off these singles 45s I've picked up. So I hope everyone's well. I hope you're sticking with this. I'm glad I'm posting these on different days. So let's start episode 4 with Kinky Boots by Patrick Macnee and Honor Blackman. Now, this is a reissue that came out in 1984. Nope, sorry, 94. They the original actors in the Avengers. Honor Blackman obviously played Pussy Galore in Goldfinger as well. And this was, I think this got played in clubs, and it got developed to life. It's one of these songs that became a cult. Everyone jumped on it, got released, became a single, and then nobody's heard of it again. Another bit of a one-hit wonder. This is Don Partridge, Rosie. This is going back to London. Now, Don Partridge was, I think, a busker. He was actually a busker in life. I think somebody spotted him playing and said, "Well, want to make a record?" Yes. And it became a top 10, I think, in the UK. Unfortunately, he could never follow it up. And I'm not sure if he ended up being quite bitter about that. Some classic Lennon McCartney, World Without Love by Peter and Gordon, If I Were With You. Obviously, Peter Asher, there was the link with Peter Asher being the sister of Jane. But fair play to Peter Asher, he went on to develop his own career as a producer and manager in his own right. Then we've got Peter, Paul and Mary, Leaving on a Jet Plane, the John Denver song, beside the House song. Sort of gave them a renaissance in hit single wise in their career. Then the Police, Spirits in the Material World, which came from Ghost in the Machine. B-side, Low Life. This was, I think, top 10 in the UK. I think this might have been the third single from said album. Not much I could say about it. It's not one of their better singles, but it's still a good song. Then I've got Princess, and this is Say I'm Your Number One. B-side, Say I'm Your Number One, Sensor Voice. At the time, this is you're talking about 85, and I'm sure there's pretty much a period in the UK charts where we had Princess, Prince, King, and Queen in the charts. There you go. Useless information. A reissue from 1972. This is Otis Redding, My Girl, backed up with Hard to Handle. This is the Rolling Stones' second single, I Want to Be Your Man, and followed up B-side Stones, and you probably see that it isn't a Mick Jagger, Keith Richard, it's a Nanka Pledge, which was that pseudonym they were using at the time to signify their own stuff. Yeah, Want to Be Your Man, Beatles song, which they covered, and because at the time Beatles were getting success, were the big band. I think Decca just thought we'll give them a Beatles song, see if that would give them success. I think it got top 20 at least. He might scrape top 10. Something totally different. This is The Stripper by David Rose Orchestra. Obviously, been played to death. Anything that's connected with somebody taking their clothes off in the UK, they always play that. Well, they used to play it, they don't now. So this is something I was curious to find. This is the Royal Guardsmen, Snoopy versus the Red Baron, backed by I Needed You. I think I remember it more because I think somebody did a reggae version. I can't think for the life of me who did it, and that became a top 10 hit in the UK. I was talking to Hannah Omar Introvert. She mentioned about Eloise, the Damned did the cover. And while this is not original, this is the original version of it. This is a 1970s reissue. Eloise Barry Ryan, Excuse the Glare, written by his brother Paul. And then the B-side, Love Always Comes Around. This song is basically about a guy obsessed with a stripper. Just playing about the stripper there. What I've read about this, and it's just one of the great vocal performances in pop. It's just so over the top. And if you get a chance, if you listen to, I think his followers, a song called Kitsch, and that's very much in the same vein. Probably was. It only had a bit of a shelf life, and I think Barry Ryan became a photographer. Paul still tried to do production and writing songs, but I don't think he had the same success. Buffy St Marie, Soldier Blue, B-side. Monetarium, I think, Bring the Boys Home. That's an anti-Vietnam song. Soldier Blue, lead song from the film. I remember seeing it once, and it's quite, actually, at the time, quite violent film. That's what I can say about that. I probably wouldn't rush out my way to go and see it again. Now, in part 3, I think I showed you Judge Dredd. This is the originals, Serge Gainsbourg and Jane Birkin. Je t'aime, mon bleu. Got to number 1 in 1969. It was banned basically by the BBC, and I think that helped sell the record. It's basically a load of heavy breathing, and the original cover, if you can get hold of it, it's got Jane Birkin basically in the buff, and yeah, it's just curious of that time, good old Serge, but it's not as good as Frankie Howard and June Whitfield's version. Del Shannon, Little Town Flirt, followed up by the Wham Bamboo. Pleased to find this, and especially in its original company sleeve. This is Shocking Blue, Venus, and followed up by Hot Sand, and that's a corking song. Very difficult to get hold of the album. I know some people in the VC have shown the album. It's difficult. I know it's a really big hit in the States. There we go. Here we go, Mrs. Robinson by Simon Garfunkel, followed by B-side Old Friends Bookends. Pleased to have that. And then you got Paul Simon, Me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard, backed by Congratulations. No, it's not the Cliff Richard song. Waterfront by Simple Minds. And then you've got Hunter and the Hunted on the B-side. Absolutely just corking classic song from 1983. Just the way it just crashes in. Sort of defined their sound for me, to be honest. It sort of gave them their identity, how they moved forward into really how big a band they became in the 80s. I remember when I saw them in 89 at NEC, I think it was one of about 5 or 6 nights they'd sold out. That they were that huge in the UK. Some Quo, Status Quo Live. This was a live EP from, I was looking when it came out, 1976. It's Roll Over Lay Down's the lead track, and then on B-side you've got Gerundula and Junior's Wailing. It's got some really nice words from John Peel. Now, John Peel did his gigs when he was a DJ, and one of the records he used to have in his box, which he always played because he knew it would get the audience going, was Down Down by the Quo. So he wrote, and this is just Roll Over Lay Down. It's just a great song, even better live. Some Steve Harley. This is Mr. Soft, and backed by Such a Dream. This is actually not Steve Harley. This is Cockney Rebel. This is when they were Cockney Rebel. This probably was the first single. I'm not sure if this was the first hit or Judy Teen was the first hit, but great song. Then I think I've mentioned that the band basically walked out on him, and his reaction was to write a song about it, which became a #1 hit single for him. Make Me Smile, Come Up and See Me. Backed by Another Journey. And this is when it was Steve Harley and Cockney Rebel. And then you've got the follow-up, Mr. Raffles, Man It Was Mean. The B-side's a live version of Sebastian, which is considered to be like their big track, then and I then brought another copy of Make Me Smile, Come Up and See Me on the Old Gold, and that's primarily because it got Judy Teen, which was the other single that Cockney Rebel had. I thought we already got this, but I hadn't got it in this sleeve. This is Dave Stewart with Colin Brunstone, What Becomes of Broken Hearted. I think this was the original sleeve when it first came out. It didn't become a hit, it got reissued, I believe. And I've got that in the sleeve. So, yeah. It's got but features Barbara Gaskin on backing vocals on the B-side, There's No Reward. She would then pop up when he did a version of It's My Party, which was so totally different, but it became a #1 hit single for him. Stranglers, Golden Brown, their ode to heroin. Got to #2 from the La Folie, and the reason it became successful was because it was so different to what they'd done before, and nobody really twigged at the time what it was about. B-side, Love 30. So we're getting back into the Stranglers, actually. Then we got the Style Council, their debut single, Speak Like a Child, and Party Chambers. And you can see Paul Weller had started to change from the Jam, the way he was dressing. In fact, on his sleeve notes, he called himself the Cappuccino Kid. He'd taken the mod thing and really ran with it. Then, I'm not sure if I've shown you this before, the Sweet 16s. This probably was one of the last records they did with Mike Chapman and Nicky Chin. B-side, which they wrote themselves, Burn on the Flame. This is a bit of an oddity because it's quite an actual, I would say, an ode to times past about growing up, and then at the last verse, somebody that sort of rebelled and it didn't work out right for them, and it's quite a different sounding single. It's sort of like represented the different direction the band were going at that time. So that ends that video, VC. So if you liked what you see and you've come across the channel for the first time, click on the subscribe button. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Love the interaction. I would also say feel free to comment. We'll always get back to you. So until episode 5, which will be the final episode of this, take care of yourselves, keep spinning, more importantly, keep smiling.